he signed an executive order on no cash bail. Let's get to it.
Street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization. Okay, let's go. Could I ask you to say exactly what this is?
Of course. So as you've consistently identified, sir, cashless bail policies are a key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy. So some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America
Almost
have adopted.
all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh, they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes. Yeah, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business, and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Sir.
Trump does not mind. Trump has no regard for making sure that he throws somebody under the bus. And his latest target has been everybody in Illinois. Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, and it's about time, honestly. Somebody needed to bring them to the front of the congregation. When they passed that Safety Act, I was like, why would anybody do this? Who asked for this? When you introduce legislation, right? When people introduce legislation, the thing that I'm always trying to understand is who asked for this? Who asked for no cash bail? The whole idea behind bail is to be determined by a judge as to what the bail would be depending on the severity of the crime, so as to ensure that you show up back to court. But if you don't have a bail system because it's a no cash bail, then that defeats the whole idea of bail. No? Then you've seen a rash of crimes because guess what? Nobody had to sit down. So then crime exploded right after everybody was able to go back outside. Crime went crazy. Nobody wore any masks. Everybody just felt like they can go and offend because even the migrants, illegal migrants, they knew that they was on some catch and release. You got me. Now you got to let me go. They was playing tag. They playing tag with criminals. They're playing tag with criminals. Gotcha. Put you in the system for informational purposes only, not to hold you accountable for your crimes, not to prevent you from reoffending, not to rehabilitate you, not to do anything. Think about it. If somebody commits a crime and then they get caught, why would they not commit the crime again because they know that there's no consequences, even for me to sit down for a little bit? Why would anybody, think about that for a second, why would anybody be scared of the police? I wouldn't even run from the police if I was to commit a crime and get caught. You got me. I know I'm getting out. And you know the thing about criminals is that criminals know the law better than you do. As a civilian, criminals know the law better than you do. Go and watch any of these scammer channels. Go and watch any of these interviews where people want to get on there and tell about themselves and tell on themselves. Go and watch them. They'll tell you, well, under statute 364578, I don't have to do this because I'm a sovereign citizen. And so the only thing that they could do is only hold me down for this. So I'm just going to do it up to this amount. People, remember when they had the $950 or $900 and something dollar limit to where somebody would actually get charged with a felony instead of a misdemeanor? And stores couldn't stop you, and they told the security guards, it's not worth chasing down criminals, and life is to be preserved. That matters more than the items that they will steal. Well, everybody was just going in there. Okay, I got $900 a day, $950. They start doing the math. All right, put their calculator on. They went and grabbed their plastic bags. They walked in, filled it up with $900 worth of stuff, CVS, Walgreens, anything that you can think of, Best Buy. you know what? PlayStation 5 is out. Well, guess what? It don't cost $900, so we can just take it. And if we get caught, we're going to be back on the street anyway, and nobody's going to trip about it. Cool. Let's go in there and take whatever it is that we need to take. People be knowing exactly what it is. People know exactly what the penalty is. Even me, as a person that looks at stoplights as a yield sign and not necessarily a stoplight, because I'm not stopping at no light longer than 5 seconds, I just don't play that game. I'm situationally aware and I keep my head on the swivel. I need to know what's going on at all times. If I see a car make too many turns, I'm going to do another U-way. Listen, I will turn around on the street in 5 seconds. But you know one thing about me is that I already know, hey, if the police pull me over, this is what I'm getting. I'm going to just go ahead and take that in. I know exactly what the offense is. Hey, Mr. Daniels, we're going to charge you with this. We're going to charge you with that. Cool. Call my lawyer, get him on the phone. Cool, but I'm alive to tell the story. My point is that when you are doing something that you are not supposed to do, you are very much aware of what you weren't supposed to do, but you did it anyway, and so you got to suffer the consequences as a result of it. But what's the point of putting consequences on a person if you don't have a bail system? If you don't have a bail system, what's the point?
So important. And this isn't Republican, Democrat. This is, and by the way, most Democrats agree with us. But this is just, we got to bring our country back. Okay? That's a big one.
Also on the issue of cashless bail, sir, this is a DC-specific executive order. In addition to the measures that we're taking that are quite similar to what we're doing around the country.
Did you just say they steal because of education and housing? What? What does that mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? You don't know not to steal regardless of what level of education that you got? They got to teach you not to steal in school? Your parents didn't tell you that? What do you mean? Is that like the troll version of you, or are you actually standing with them? What does that mean? What does that mean? But they steal because of education. What does that mean? I'm not really sure what that means. Uncle Uchi Wally Wally Onakanunu says, shaking my head, AD, I expect your vocabulary to be better casted. Sovereign citizen, really? Ugo, Uchi Wally Wally. Listen, man, I'm a C student. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not trying to give you anything more than what it is that I know. All I know how to do is break it down to a C student's perspective. All right, Uchi Wally Wally? All right? Shout out to Uchi Wally Wally in the building. I'm going to start giving y'all nicknames. Keep on coming with all of these long African names. We not in the bush. We're not in the bush.
In DC in particular, the objective is holding as many criminal defendants in federal custody and subjecting them to federal charges as possible. That means that they'll be held pre-trial in federal jail as opposed to just being cut back out on the streets due to a cashless bail policy.
Okay? And we have the room. And by the way, the prison they have in DC is horrible. It's horrible. People were subjected to live in that dog trap for so long, so unfairly. I have stories, you'll be hearing about them. That prison is horrible. Okay?
This is an executive order that contains a number of additional measures relating to crime and law enforcement in Washington, D.C. It charges, for example, your Secretary of Defense with establishing specialized units in both the DC National Guard and in National Guard units around the country, specifically trained and equipped to deal with public order issues. It charges all of your various federal law enforcement agencies with hiring additional personnel to allow them to surge personnel to Washington, D.C. to deal with the current emergency here. It does a number of other things in that space, and it also asks the Attorney General to look at D.C. Metropolitan Police general orders that have currently impeded law enforcement efforts in the city, and to potentially look at unwinding those that are stopping the police from doing their job effectively.
And are we going to ask this to be codified by Congress, all of these things?
I think we could potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it to. I think Democrats will vote. Well, I don't know. It's hard to believe that they might not, but I think Democrats will actually.
Most of these issues that we talk about and that we deal with are not issues that should be divided across party lines. If you want to talk about something like, I can't even think of anything that should be a party line issue right off the top of my head. Like, being tough on crime and protecting the neighbors and the citizens of your community should not be a hard party line thing. You know, like you would think that, hey man, listen, if anybody offends, you got to go ahead and get a bail system so that you're not out here executing people and you're not doing something that you're not supposed to do. But for some reason, we've started to make these party line issues. And I'm going to tell you why they become so hardline on party line issues. It's not because they actually care about the issue itself. It's because they care about the person that is signing it into law, and they don't want them to have any victories. People would rather they suffer for you not getting the victory. I've never been that way in my entire life. I'm not going to cut off my own hand just because you grabbing it. I'm going to have to start to break loose a little bit. I'm not going to hurt myself in order to hurt you. I'm not. You know what? It's got to be a different way. We got to think our way through this. That's why I've never had any kind of situation where anybody that has worked for me or anybody that has worked with me or anybody that has ever been in a relationship with me, even when I was much younger, I'm not going to hurt me to hurt you. I don't understand how people do that even in relationships. Women, a lot of times, I'm going to keep the kid away from you. Well, don't you know that you hurting the kid to try to hurt me? Like, that don't make sense. Don't you know you hurting yourself? Oh, I'm going to be a B when it comes to this whole breakup or divorce. Well, don't you know that the lawyers are the only ones that's going to win and neither one of us is going to get nothing? It's better for us to be amicable and to make sure that we work together. Oh, we divided, so we going to make sure that we hold the people hostage when it comes to crime in the community. Well, why would we do that? We both don't want crime in the community, and so let's figure out how we both can come out of this and get a win. You'll look good to your constituents. I'll look good to my constituents. We both solving for problems. We not divided across party lines. Some of these issues are low-hanging fruit. This is not stuff that we should be fighting about. We shouldn't be using taxpayer dollars and wasting time on fighting different issues that we both should probably agree on. Both of us want to live in a safe community. Both of us understand and agree that everybody deserves safety. Everybody deserves to make sure that they're arresting criminals that are inside of their communities. No, we don't want to lower crime. We want to stop it completely. We want to stop it completely. So why would we offend? Why would we beef about this? Why is this a problem? Why do we have to fight for everything? And I'll tell you why. Because most Democrats are emotionally charged. Everything that they do is based off of emotion and not logic. Why are you protesting that they've solved for crime in D.C.? Why is that an issue? Why should we be divided on the idea that men shouldn't use women's bathrooms? Why are we divided on the idea that men should not participate in women's sports? Why should we be defending the idea, you know what I'm saying, like, of higher tax? Like, why would we have higher taxes? You want to pay higher taxes? But no, They would rather pay higher taxes to try to make rich people pay higher taxes because they count other people's money. The one thing that I never did when I was broke is start to count somebody else's money. I don't have time for that. Only thing I got to worry about is myself. I ain't never start counting nobody else's money when I didn't have none, because there was nothing to compare it to. I only looked at it as inspiration, because when you try to raise taxes on people that got a lot of revenue, guess what they do? They either move or they figure out another way in order to get rid of the money so they don't have the tax burden. Doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. It's a dumb narrative. I heard that they also did a ban on burning the flag. Let me see something. Let me look that up real quick. A 1-year prison sentence for burning the flag? Let me see if I can get that up real quick. Give me a second.
Years, actually years. We always have a murder a week. They call it a murder a week. You come here from Iowa, you come here, I'll spend about $2. And it's saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not.
Some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America
Almost
have adopted. Potentially, yes, sir.
I think so. I think we should. I think we'll get it. I think Democrats will vote. Well, it's hard. Like looking at, spoke to it briefly twice about nothing. That means that all those pardons that he gave to some very bad people, very unpatriotic people, very evil people, it looks to me like those pardons are worthless. Because number one, you shouldn't use an auto pen, very specifically. But if you do, it has to be a very good reason. And they have to know that the president wanted it. The president didn't want this. The president didn't know he was alive, okay? He never approved any of this stuff. He wasn't for open borders and all the other things. He was never for open borders. I've known Biden a long time. He was never very sharp, but he was never in favor of open borders and all of the other things he did to destroy our country. Let's go.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You can do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. You can, but when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they use that language, by the way. Did they? Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important. Some people would say it's more important. Because the people in this country don't want to see our American flag burned and spit on. And by people that are, in many cases, paid agitators. They're paid by the radical left to do it. You talk to these people, they don't even know, half of them don't even know what they're doing. They say, I don't know, they gave me money to do this. I see the same things that you do. They're bad people. They're trying to destroy our nation. That's not working, because I think our nation now is the most respected nation anywhere in the world by far. You saw that with the European leaders on Friday. You saw that with NATO, where they agreed to go from 2% no pay to 5% fully paid up, trillions of dollars paid, where they respect your president to a level that they jokingly call me the president of Europe. They call me the president of Europe, which is an honor. I like Europe, and I like those people. They're good people. They're great leaders. And we've never had a case where 7 plus really 28, essentially 38 countries were represented here the other day. 38 European countries were represented. European and other countries were represented, and it was a great meeting. But your country is respected again. I say it all the time. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Everybody said it. We had a dead country. We were not going to survive. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. So it's an honor to be involved. And this group has a lot to do with it, right behind me. Does anybody behind me have anything? Pam, would you like to say something?
Trump is right. He's absolutely right in that, Biden, first of all, Trump gives visibility to all of the people that surround him, right? He 100% gives visibility to the people that surround him. That's why he's saying, hey, Pam, you want to say something? We didn't even know who was really around Biden at the time, right? And I suspect that that's largely because the people around Biden was probably leveraging him and using him for their own benefit. They were leveraging him and they were using him for their own benefit. And so as a result, you've seen Biden, and I did shows on this. I had conversations about, I've shown earlier footage from 2008 all the way up to 2012 of Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, all of these people that were the top Democrats at the time. I had conversations and I showed the fact that they were standing on the same principles that Trump is standing on right now, as far as saying, hey, listen, we should not have open borders. We need to make sure that we tariff in China. All of the things that Trump is doing, they all mentioned it. All of the things that Trump is doing, they all mentioned it. And then to let people burn the flag, y'all feel comfortable burning the flag? You know how many people died for that flag? You know how much blood was spilled in order to raise that flag? You know what that flag is a symbol of? The pursuit of happiness, freedom, right? Free from tyranny, freedom of speech, right to bear arms, freedom from slavery, freedom to vote and determine who your leader is going to be, to legislate what it is that means the most to you. You know what that flag represents? You know what people had to go through in order for that flag to stand the way that it is? How many wars was fought? How many people died as a result of it? And these disrespectful, non-historic, don't even understand what happened in the past, don't even really realize what really, they never understood their history. They don't even know the capital of their own state. And you got these stupid, raging liberals that don't know nothing about their own history, which is one of the reasons why they are so staunch. Don't even know that the Republican Party was the party of the people, was the party of black people. And they got the nerve to put a fire to the flag just to be disrespectful. And I agree 100%. 1 year in jail. Every time you burn a flag, 1 year in jail. 1 year in jail. You go to jail, you don't collect go, you don't pass go, you don't collect $200, you don't do nothing. Go to jail, think about it, and I think that they should put a flag right in front of your cell to show you and help you to remember. I think it's disrespectful when the people still be sitting down when they do, at the games and stuff like that. I couldn't believe it when people started kneeling, when they started singing the Star Spangled Banner, and we were supposed to be saluting our soldiers and our military, and people was standing and kneeling and not standing up for the flag. That junk pissed me off. Stood for the Canadian flag and then sat down. When I be at the games and stuff like that, when COVID first ended and we started going back to the games, and I seen people still sitting down in AC, hey, you stop and you stand. Everything stopped when we started singing. Nobody got no pride no more. They don't have no reason to. That's why you don't have no reason to continue to stand and do whatever it is that you do, because you so disrespectful. You so disrespectful. I remember I was talking to this booty scratcher one time. You know what a booty scratcher is. You know what we used to say back in the day when we was in school. Ah, you little booties, you a booty scratcher. I was talking to this booty scratcher one time, and he was trying to tell me about how much he loves Bernie. Feel the burn. And how much he was disappointed in what was happening in America, and he couldn't even believe it. And I found out some years later that he not even from here. So wait a minute, you can't, wait, give me a second. This is the honest to God truth. You can't vote? You don't have no right to vote? No. Then what do you got an opinion for as far as what our politicians do inside of the United States of America? You got the nerve to have you should be thankful. Boy, if it wasn't for us here in the United States of America, you know what you will be doing? You probably would only have one arm trying to find some diamonds. You would have one arm trying to get some diamonds out the mud. What do they do with the diamond? Give me some props. I need a prop. That's what they will be doing to you. This will be you. One arm. Getting the mud out. Rinsing it with water. Stealing diamonds. One arm you. This is you. This is you right here. Give me a second. Let me show you. Trying to find the diamonds. That's you. You wouldn't even have no arm. You would be looking for diamonds in your home country where you came from. Giving it to Leonardo DiCaprio so he could put it inside of a goat skin. Got the nerve to be sitting here having an opinion about what we do inside of the United States of America. If you don't get your basket and go back to your country and try to find some diamonds, stealing American dollars so you can go and build up your own home country.